Before we get started, we just want to let you know about a few ways you can support our grassroots indie show. You can follow us on social media at No Bad Reviews Pod. We'd love it if you could go to your favorite podcasting app and rate us and review us. Also, please tell a friend about our podcast. And last, you can financially support us on patreon.com/nobadreviews, buymeacoffee.com/nobadreviewspod, and you can buy merch at our website, nobadreviewspodcast.com. Thank you, and enjoy this episode. Hello, and welcome to No Bad Reviews, a coffee podcast. This is a podcast where three friends, coworkers, and coffee industry professionals get together every other week, and we explore the beautiful globe that we live upon through the lens of coffee. We talk about anybody and anything. Sometimes we'll name the person, sometimes we won't. That's a new thing. Mm-hmm. Sometimes we'll tell you to Google it.
We're name dropping today, big time.
Or sometimes we have a really fun episode about a really fun person. And that's today. I'm Jenny, and I run the operations at a coffee company called Modest Coffee.
And I'm Marcus, and I am co-founder of Modest Coffee, Good Food Award-winning coffee roaster, and Santa isn't real. Sorry, guys.
Oh man, we're gonna have to insert like a one of those if you're driving with a kid in the car warnings.
No, don't. Just leave that for him.
If you're driving with kids in the car, go back in time 3 minutes and tell them to close their ears. We never said we were a kid-friendly podcast. If anybody allows their kids to listen to this amount of swearing, well, I question your parenting decisions.
Domino motherfuckers, what's happening? I'm Stephanie.
Oh, is this like a new phrase we're going to learn today?
This is a
Domino motherfucker.
This is what I'm doing today.
Hell yes.
Sugar.
It's a little hint about today's episode.
I'm excited to learn more about this phrase that I may incorporate into my daily life.
I'm just trying to drop as many phrases from his first album as I can into today's episode. That is my whole plan. I've written an entire episode around
about
just being able to use these ridiculous
phrases.
Amazing.
They're not ridiculous when he says them.
Yeah.
But I guarantee when I say them.
Yeah.
And if somebody has picked up on Domino motherfuckers reference, you just won the prize.
The prize.
You won a prize.
I assume, though, that they read the title when they clicked play.
That's true.
You
We
know.
might have had a spoiler.
But it's okay.
We need to stop putting it. We're just episode 72. That's all it is.
No description except for our self-promotions.
Right.
And then it'll just be, this episode is just the title or the definition. What is it? The description is just going to say, Domino motherfucker.
Oh, can it? Can it say that? We should make that. That'll get the
I'll
clicks.
put it like, Domino motherfucker, and then
Yeah.
click to hear more.
Yeah. Yeah, all caps.
Today we're talking about world-renowned coffee roaster, Calvin Brodus Jr. Ever heard of him?
Oh, man. I have not, I'm names to faces. I'm not.
I heard he won a good food award.
Did he? Did you really?
No.
I hadn't
No, he
memorized
did
all
not.
of them.
No.
Okay.
No, he did not.
You
But
haven't
he is
heard?
famous, though.
He is very famous.
Is he like Salt Bay of coffee roasters?
I don't know what Salt
I don't
Bay
know what
is.
Salt Bay is either.
Oh, okay. That's a reference that, some of you listeners might get. He's the guy that does this with the salt and never mind. He's very, very Instagram-y, guys. Look him up.
Can you tell me his name again?
Calvin Brodus Jr.
Okay.
Cool.
I thought that there was 3 names, but Junior was the third. Okay.
Oh, Calvin Cortazar Brodus
Wow,
Jr.
what
if
a
you actually
name.
want his full name.
Oh.
But you may know him as Snoop Dogg.
Snoop Dogg
Snoop
in the
Dogg.
house.
What?
His coffee is INDOxyz. INDOxyz.
Love it.
That's an Indonesia reference, unless don't assume it's drugs.
No, sorry, there's a fly.
Oh, I thought you were clapping me
No,
out.
I'm sorry.
I thought you were like, shut the fuck up.
No, I'm sorry.
Marcus is like, we don't talk about drugs on this podcast. This is inappropriate for the children.
You know.
Yeah, so I wanna say thank you to Snoop, first of all, because unlike certain pop punk bands that we could mention, he does not hide the fact that someone else roasts his coffee. He does not make you think that he's getting off the tour bus and walking straight into the roastery.
Yeah, right.
Thank you for your honesty and upfrontness. Thank you for not making me like dig deep to find the roaster.
Huh, good
like
job.
some people did.
Yeah, this is what do they call that? Licensing? They license their image. Is this a licensing deal?
You know,
for Snoop?
supposedly he and this guy are like buddies.
Okay.
And yeah, the coffee roaster we are going to talk about, his name is Michael Riyadi, and he's an Indonesian guy, and he specializes in Indonesian coffee, and he does have his own company. And then this is like his joint venture with
So
Snoop.
this is like the kids explained this to me. They call that a collab.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, what I read about it briefly when I first found out about this coffee, I read an article about it. Yeah, it's basically this guy who has the Indonesian connection. Snoop Dogg wanted to start an coffee company or something, so he found somebody who would fit with that, and then the two of them hit it off as pals. I feel like Snoop Dogg kind of hits it off with everyone, though.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I don't know anyone who doesn't want to hang out with Snoop Dogg.
Right.
And like, I read a lot about Snoop Dogg over the past couple weeks, and hardly anybody has anything negative to say about him. It's usually like, yeah, people love this guy.
It's like Tipper Gore going after him.
yeah, Tipper Gore, right?
Only one who doesn't like Snoop Dogg.
You know, but that's more about his art and less about who he is as a person. Like, nobody's really complaining about who he is as a person.
He seems like a very stand-up guy to me. Like, he seems like a genuine, like, down-to-earth, like, good values type of guy. Like, it just seems like he cares about his family. He cares about his businesses. He, and just cares about, like, being chill and...
Smoking weed?
I mean, that helps to be chill.
It does.
I mean, he seems to care about that. That seems to be a core value.
I get
It is a core value.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, I get that, but you know, it's like, I don't know, he just seems like a cool dude. Like, despite all of his fame, and like, he could be very pretentious, but he doesn't be.
You really get the feeling that it, like, what you see is what you get with that guy.
Did you guys see the MTV Cribs
Oh, you know,
with Snoop Dogg?
I looked up a bunch of videos, but not that one.
No, very same thing. Like very modest housing. You know, he was not like, it wasn't crazy, flashy, showy like a lot of the other MTV Cribs were. And it was just like him, like in his boxers, like just kind of chilling, like not like you know, him and his family, his kids, you know, wife. Longtime wife.
Didn't he have didn't he have a reality show for a little while back in like the 2000s?
So I watched a little clip of his reality show called...
I think I watched a few episodes of that.
Oh, gosh. I didn't even write down the name. It's like, I feel like Daddy's in the name. I feel like...
Daddy's I don't know, actually. Daddy's House feels like some... thing that I just made up.
Well, I was most impressed by, if it was whatever it was that I watched, it was like a personal look into his life, and I'm assuming it was the reality show. And I was mostly impressed by the fact that him and his wife, like, have been together for so long, and that he's just a really family-oriented guy, and that he just, like, whatever he's doing with, like, the music and the weed smoking and all that, that's part of, like, his brand. But, like, who he actually is just this guy, like you said, pretty modest house, not flashy, just trying to, like, live his life and be a family guy.
I don't know about not flashy.
I just did it. You know, compared to, like, people who are driving these, like, fancy cars and have these gigantic houses, and it's all about the money and the wealth. And, like, you know, if you were to go in... there are certain people who have reality TV shows where it's all about their wealth. And for him,
Right.
my impression was it's all about his family. That's basically what my impression was.
Okay.
I watched a clip of that show, and it seemed very scripted. It like annoyed me how scripted it seemed. But the kids did go into his closet when he wasn't there to steal money out of his jacket pockets, which I thought was funny. And I was amused by his closet, which looked a lot like my closet in that it was not very big and it was packed so full. And it was not, it wasn't like this huge room that you walk into that was well organized
Right.
with someone else taking care of his laundry and shit. It was just like a closet.
A bunch of shit thrown in it.
Oh my God. And it was just like all jerseys and fur coats. It was really funny.
Oh, see, this is what
cool.
I love.
Yeah.
Snoop Dogg is all of us.
Right.
All right. Snoop Dogg was born in 1971. He's a couple years older than me.
Oh, he's a pretty young guy.
Like 51 now.
Yeah.
Wow.
Did you think he was older?
I thought he was 70 for some reason.
I mean, like 71. I was surprised.
I thought he was like,
Although-
peers with Bill Cosby.
Wow.
Although I guess 50 is getting kind of old these days.
Hey now.
Whoa.
I mean, I'm just messing with you. And all of our 50-year-old listeners, sorry. I'm just being a jerk. As I approach 50.
Wow. Snoop's a young fellow.
I think about where I was in life, like driving around in my car, listening to Doggy Style, and what I had accomplished at that point. And he was like world famous.
So young.
He accomplished a
Wow.
lot really young.
He would have been like 20.
I think he was 22 when Doggy Style
crazy.
came out.
Wow.
That's what I mean.
really
I thought he was
something.
older when that happened
Yeah.
because so few people get that level of success at 22.
Right.
It was extremely, shockingly successful.
Especially outside of back in the day when you didn't have YouTube to like get
Right.
people like Justin
Yeah.
Bieber
Yeah.
famous. That's right. I did say Bieber on purpose.
1971 is also the year that rap was born.
1971?
1971.
Aw,
Hip
Did they,
hop
like-
dates back.
Did they retroactively say this is when Snoop Dogg was born, so that's when
It's the beginning of rap.
was
No,
born?
his essence coming
Yeah.
into the world brought the essence of rap with
heralded
him.
in a new era
That's
in
right.
music.
If you believe in souls or whatever, Snoop Dogg's soul brought that into
Rap
this
has
world.
arrived in this world.
His essence arrived in the form of a Jamaican guy in the South Bronx named Kool Herc.
Love it.
Kool Herc was like playing turntables and rapping over them. Hip hop started at like block parties. So the South Bronx in the 70s was kind of a disaster. That's a rabbit hole we don't have to go down. But like literally, they talk about like the Bronx was burning. And that's because the city decided to save money by just like taking all the fire stations out of the poor neighborhoods. So the South Bronx was literally like 70% of the apartments in the South Bronx burned down
Shit.
in the 1970s. Like I can't even wrap my head around that number. It's insane.
That's crazy.
So like that's what was going on in the background. It was also like the late 70s. You had those rolling blackouts and that Summer of Sam serial murderer guy.
A lot of
You know,
fucked
let
up
me-
shit happened in the 70s.
I want to
Yeah.
say the 70s in New York City were generally a fucking dumpster fire
Yeah, shit show.
in general.
All over New York.
I think
yeah.
even, like, wasn't it Manhattan, too?
Yeah.
The whole
disaster.
city.
Wow.
Yep. Yeah. Hip hop, the word hip hop used to refer to the parties, like we're going to go to a hip hop. And they were these like big block parties, and you'd have
Oh,
these.
maybe like a sock hop, but hip.
But,
Yeah.
but hip, that's right.
Yeah.
Far less square. That is correct.
Yes.
Sure.
So this guy Kool Herc kind of gets the credit for being the first one to like break out turntables and like sample these songs and just like talk over them. He would use the instrumental part of the song. He'd play it over and over and over, and he would
Sure.
just kind of talk over it. He used a lot of funk. Like he really liked James Brown. He didn't think that the American audience would get reggae, which is what he really wanted to do. So he was using funk.
Yeah, I guess ska had not come to the United States, really. I'm thinking back, the other reggae that
Oh,
was
yeah.
associated was with ska,
Yeah.
but that was still...
That was
It went to
still-
England first. Remember?
Right.
Maybe he was right.
Break dancers. So the break in the music was the part where the instrumental part was repeated and no one was rapping, and people would dance during the break.
Oh, hell yeah.
And that's where the term breakdancing came from.
Wow.
I didn't know that.
That's
That's
fun.
also James Brown in a few songs, like "Kick It to the Break."
Ah.
Yeah, that's an all. That's when the musicians go fucking nuts too.
The
So-
solos or whatever.
Yeah.
Drum solo. Grandmaster Flash heard Cool Herc, and he started doing the same thing, but a little weirder. Like, he was playing records backwards. He was scratching them up more. He was just, like, adding his own twist to it. But he couldn't rap. So he got together with a band, Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five. They released a song in 1979 called We Rap More Mellow. They were called the younger generation at that point. And that is not credited with being the first official rap song. At first, they didn't think you could record rap. Like, you can't record it. It's like...
Because it's like in the moment, it's like part of it is being in this, group of people outside at, a cookout or a barbecue or whatever, a block party.
Yeah.
Just rapping.
It's like meant to be, in the moment. It's like you're feeling the moment.
A lot of it was freestyle. They
Yeah.
weren't coming with written lyrics. They were just, like, saying whatever popped into their head in the moment.
It's like particle physics. As soon as you observe it, you fucking ruin the whole experiment. Yep.
That's right.
Yeah.
It was actually a woman...
First time rap has ever been compared to particle physics.
See? There you go.
You heard it here first.
Yeah.
Now I'd like to see a physicist.
Just let it flow naturally.
I'd like to see a cool physicist do a paper on this now.
Yeah. Right?
a challenge.
To all of our physicist listeners that are cool. Show how cool you are.
Yeah.
All of you. There was another song that also, 1979 was like the year. There was the first song that came out in 1979 in March was called King Tim III by the Fatback Band. And that was originally an instrumental song that they had someone rap over at the last minute. And that was like maybe officially the first rap song. And then this Grandmaster Flash song came out. And then the Sugar Hill Gang came out with Rapper's Delight. And that's considered the first successful rap song. That's the first one that got radio play. That's the one that people
still
have heard
a fucking jam.
of. It is.
Yeah.
It's pretty funny.
Yeah.
There was a woman producer named Sylvia Robinson who insisted on like recording this song, and she really kind of like was instrumental in making rap a thing.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Way to go.
Sylvia, good job. I
No.
wish I knew more about her, but that was one of those rabbit holes that I didn't go down.
It's
I'm
okay.
trying to limit myself.
It's okay. It's,
Marcus says he needs to do less editing.
oh my God. That won't make it in the episode.
You should leave it. Leave it. I'm challenging you to leave it. For all those people who listen and are like, you guys sound so good.
Yeah. No,
That's because
it's fine.
Marcus cuts out all of our bullshit. We
Yeah.
are actually here for like 4 hours every time. You only get an hour.
It's all good. It's all good. We're just hanging out.
That's what happens when 3 friends, coworkers, and coffee industry professionals get together every other week.
Yeah.
So the 80s were big for rap, but gangster rap was just starting to like appear. 1984, Run DMC. 1987,
Okay.
Public Enemy and LL Cool J. But it was like, it was actually Ice-T in 1986 who gets a lot of credit for gangster rap. He was kind of like the first successful one, heavily influenced by a guy named Schoolie D out of Philadelphia.
I just think it's so funny that Ice-T is like a detective on SVU for
Yeah,
so many
I like
years
that.
now. I just like for some reason it makes me laugh.
It
like
does.
that juxtaposition. Like I can't even imagine him being a gangster rapper because
Right.
he's just Agent Finn.
Yeah, I just think of him as like a cop now. That's
Yeah.
pretty fucked up, Ice-T.
He ended up in one of my playlists, and it was like him like rapping about his like it was really rough like upbringing about his mom, and yeah, it was pretty brutal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When gangster rap first came out and people started calling it gangster rap, the actual rappers were like, this is reality rap. We're not trying to pretend to be something we're not. We're trying to actually tell our story
Yeah.
of what it's like to live here and, be young and black and male, and it wasn't easy. I'm sure it's still not.
Well, that's what gets me too. Sometimes you'll hear people, like probably mostly like old white ladies, who are like, rap music is blah, blah, blah. They're talking about things that blah, blah, blah. I'm like, but that's the reality of some people. And if you don't like it, like, why don't we think about how do we help change people's realities as a society rather than just being like, well, they're blah, blah, blah. No, these are the people. This is how people live.
You sound like somebody who's gone woke. Both of you.
I've been woke.
Yeah.
I've been awake for a long time.
Well, I mean, that's,
Since at least 7 a.m.
That's the whole point of it.
Anyways.
All right, so Rap is born and growing, and so is Snoop. He's actually named after his stepfather, this crazy big name. His dad sort of disappeared right at the beginning, and his stepdad was there pretty much from day one.
All right.
So he has two brothers. He's in the middle of two brothers. His stepdad wasn't around for too long and actually died really young.
Ooh.
And so Snoop was mostly raised by his mom.
Wait a second. He's named after a stepdad.
Mm-hmm. I'm a little confused too by how that all works.
Because wouldn't the stepdad come after his dad impregnated his mom?
I do not have the details on this whole situation.
Unless his mom, like, maybe got knocked up.
Well, maybe Snoop or maybe they added on.
He could have adopted him.
All right.
You know,
added on.
and
That's
then
a lot of
changed
names.
his name.
I
Right.
guess his dad left when he was just like a couple of months old.
Okay.
And his stepdad was always there.
Yeah.
That's all I know.
You know, there's 4 names got to come from somewhere.
You got to talk to his mom if you want the details on the starting and ending point of each relationship.
Well, look, when she's
Probably still alive.
When
Yeah.
she sends
Yeah.
us an email at hello@noBadReviewsPodcast.com, we'll be sure to report back.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
We're looking for her clarification.
Snoop was born in Long Beach, grew up there. His mom gave him the nickname Snoopy because he loved the Peanuts character Snoopy.
This
Did
is
he
so
really?
cute.
Yeah,
That's like
isn't
the
that
most wholesome
adorable?
fucking name to get the way to get that name.
Can we
Jeez.
just stop and say, like, Snoop Dogg's fucking wholesome?
Yeah, for real.
You know what else I learned this week is that Suge Knight has that name because his mom called him Sugar Bear when he was little.
Aw.
Suge Knight is not sweet.
I know, he's not, but that is a very cute way to get a name.
I think it's really funny that these super tough guys are still going by the names their mommies gave them when they
Yeah.
were 18 months old.
That's so cute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty common, though, in the black community. Like, everybody has a nickname
Yeah.
given to them by family.
Awesome.
And they're usually cute because it's like they pick them up when they're kids. And then
Yeah.
that's the name they always go by.
Yeah, forever. Right.
It's so common. Everybody has a nickname.
Yeah.
If my son ever makes it as a big rap star, his name's going to be Little Baby Chub Chub. So I hope he doesn't.
I'm going to check. Yeah, there's that rap name already exists.
Oh,
I'm sorry. I know. Just Google that one.
Arden could be good. Little R.
He's gone platinum.
Little R. Oh, that's a good one.
That's a good one. Her
Yeah.
rap name.
Yeah.
Little R.
Yeah.
When Snoop was very, very young, he was singing and playing piano at their Baptist church. So musically inclined from a very young age.
In a wholesome fucking way, too.
Yep.
Right?
Can't even with this guy.
Next thing you're going to tell me he was like a model for Cheerios.
Gerber.
Right.
I was
Gerber
going to
baby.
say that he did contribute to the family with like cute little jobs. He sold candy, he delivered newspapers, and he bagged groceries. And he gave all the money to his mom to help raise the family.
Can we just stop?
Isn't he the
already?
sweetest?
He is.
So sweet.
He deserves that.
He was a dedicated student. He was an enthusiastic churchgoer. He was active in choir in high school, and he played football.
Aw. Whoa, he's very tall and skinny for a football player.
Yeah, isn't that funny?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. He started rapping in 6th grade. I don't know where he picked it up, but he was like really good at freestyle. And he would just do it in the school hallways all the time. And he'd draw such a big crowd that like the principal would come running thinking it was like a big brawl.
Oh.
But it was just him, like everybody standing around
Aw.
listening to him rap. And
That's
it
cool.
gave him a lot of self-confidence. He could see that he had a real talent, you know, and it made him feel good about himself. He graduated from high school in 1989. He did get involved with the gangs. He's denied that at some point. Like
Yeah, naturally, like you do.
you-
You know,
he-
you don't go on record. You know,
I don't know, but at some points I don't know. You grow up there and you hang out with people, right? And
Right.
you associate. Like
Right.
I don't know how you get out of that.
Well, part of it
I
too
think
is
he's
like
rapped about like gang stuff too. He's like Crips or Bloods or
He's a Crip. He
There you go.
was a Rolling 20s Crip. They're on the east
yeah,
side of Long
okay.
Beach.
So
it's part of it too. It's like gangs that control blocks in certain neighborhoods. So it's like if you live in this certain block radius, like what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
You're gonna associate with the people that are in your neighborhood. And if you're gonna associate with somebody outside of the blocks, then like you're gonna have some problems where you live. So
right.
I mean it just kind of is what it is.
Yeah.
I mean when you grow up around it, it's normal and not necessarily great,
Yeah.
but it is
yeah,
what it is.
He's so he's getting by. Doing the thing.
His first arrest is for possession of crack cocaine in 1989. And for the next 3 years, he was frequently in and out of jail.
How old was he then? So in 1989, he was like 18?
Yeah, 18 he graduated in 89. So yeah, it was right after he graduated was his first arrest. He's had many, many arrests over the years, like even up through like 2012.
Snoop Dogg's getting in trouble that late? Was it him and Martha Stewart?
His 2012 arrest was in Norway.
Oh,
He brought a very tiny amount of marijuana.
like a pound or something like that.
It was under an ounce. It was well under an ounce. He probably didn't even realize. It was probably like in a pants pocket in his
Stuck on-
suitcase that he
Right.
didn't even realize he had. And then roughly $30,000 in cash in his carry-on bag.
Also not acceptable.
And he got to Norway and they were like, oh, you can't do that. You can't just like, I don't know why that rule exists. Something to do with money laundering, I
Oh,
assume.
okay.
But like
Huh.
you can't just carry like a briefcase full of cash around into foreign countries.
I mean, on one hand, it is a little fucking weird because that's a lot of money.
It's Snoop.
But I was going to say, on the other hand, when you're like a multi-millionaire
Yeah.
or possibly a billionaire, who knows with Snoop?
I didn't look up his net worth. but I will.
$30,000 is probably like $30.
Right.
He only had like a third of an ounce of weed on him. He needed that money as soon as he landed.
Right. To get more.
I guess, like, isn't weed legal in Norway? I thought it was legal in most of Europe.
Maybe it's legal once you're there. Maybe it's not legal to bring it in.
Well, look, it's not that big of a deal. Just good thing he wasn't in Russia.
Right.
Right.
Yes, I did have that thought. Jesus
Yeah.
Christ. He should be more careful. I don't think he's ever
mean,
been to Russia.
A
actually.
Norwegian fucking jail? Come on now.
Yeah.
I'll go check into a Norwegian jail. I'm sure it's like a vacation.
Oh, man. There's some guy listening to us in Norway in prison who's
He's like-
really mad at you right now. Most of his arrests have been either like possession of weed or crack, possession with intent to sell in his early days, and then also a lot of firearm arrests because he is a felon from the earlier drug charges. He's not allowed to have a gun,
Oh,
but he always does.
he always
Why?
does.
I mean, not always. I don't know,
Yeah.
but several times.
Yeah.
Maybe
I mean, if
after
you're
what-
walking around 30 G's, you're going to need to be packing heat too.
Look, let's just talk about the fact that I don't agree with guns, but like maybe after he saw what happened to Tupac, he's like, I better carry a gun too. You
Right.
never know when somebody's going to be out for you.
Yeah. I mean, if you have a literal car and cash on you, like multiple cars.
Like, I'm not going to
depending
give
on
Snoop Dogg a
what car
pass
you're looking at.
on guns because I
You
like
know.
him and I don't like all the so-called patriots. But, I mean, no bad reviews of the American flag, whatever.
Right. Guns.
But, guns. I don't think it's a good idea to just carry around a gun.
Yeah. Or cash. Or drugs. If you're in Norway.
I don't think
But we
that-
digress.
I don't think you should carry that stuff around in the United States either.
Okay.
He was arrested that one time for murder, and we'll get to that in a
Oh,
minute.
he
Oh.
was?
We'll get to that in a
I
minute.
didn't know about
Oh,
that.
you didn't?
No, I thought he
I
was
didn't
wholesome.
know.
Oh, well, this will be fun then.
Oh.
Okay, well, you know what? We can all be multifaceted. I'm sure he's done a lot of changes for himself.
There's a lot of gray area, and especially in Snoop's life, there's a lot of gray area.
Well, it seems like he's come around to try to be a better person, though. Was the murder charge recent?
No, he was acquitted, and we're going to talk about it.
Okay.
He started a band, a group. If you're rappers, are you called a band or are you called a group? You're called
a group.
All right. So they were called 213 because that's the Long Beach area code. It was him and his two cousins, Nate Dogg and Little Half Dead.
Wait, they got Nate Dogg? I don't know why that's so funny. That his cousin is Nate Dogg and he's Snoop Dogg.
Yeah.
Why is that so funny to me?
And I think there's a few other dogs, and they're like the Dog Pound.
The Dog Pound, yeah.
Oh my
They were a whole
God.
thing for a while.
This is so funny.
And then also his friend Warren G. Do you guys remember Warren G, or is that before your time?
Yeah, I remember Warren G.
I remember him personally. We were friends. We went out to coffee once. Old friend.
So this is the 213 group, is these guys, and they were like making their own tapes and probably
mixtape? Hell
probably
yeah.
selling them out of the trunk of the car. Somebody put one of those tapes into Dr. Dre's hands.
Nice.
And that is how Dr. Dre found.
Man, Dr.
Snoop
Dre,
Dogg.
he has fucking gotten so many people famous.
He's really something. So we're gonna.
Wait, does he have a coffee? Because he needs an episode, I think.
That'd be great. Should I not say what I was going to say about Dr. Dre
No, go
and
ahead.
save it just in case
No,
there's
no.
a coffee?
This will be a preview for a future episode.
Okay. 1987 NWA. They're like the first really big West Coast.
What does it stand for?
I can't say
Just
it.
kidding. Just kidding.
Wait, okay. N-word?
Yes.
What's W? I don't know what it
With.
stands for. With?
Attitude.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. How did I
No,
not know
how
that?
did you not know that?
I don't know. You can say N-word.
You can say N-word.
As a white person, yes.
So the first NWA album was more like a compilation album. There were
Sure.
like 3 NWA songs, and then each of these guys, there were like 5 guys in this group who were all really talented in their own, all went on to have solo careers. So it was kind of a mix of like NWA songs and then solo songs. And this was like Eazy-E was kind of the one who set the whole thing up, and then everyone ended up hating him because there were like disputes about contracts.
Yeah,
and,
money. And
yeah,
sure.
yeah. So Eazy-E founded NWA and co-founded Ruthless Records, who was making the NWA album. So
Okay.
he just kind of had his hands everywhere.
Right.
1988, Straight Outta Compton was the first like official studio album. That was the one with "Fuck the Police" on it. So
That was
everybody
an
got
NWA, or that was
NWA,
Okay.
yeah.
All right, cool.
And that got everybody all riled up, right?
Right on.
like,
Yeah.
Yeah,
that
people
was
don't
so
like
huge.
blue line.
Right.
Blue
Crossed.
lines
That
matter.
was crossed.
The blue line was definitely, yeah.
It went double platinum, so plenty of people liked it just fine.
Right.
Ice Cube left in '89 over royalty disputes. He wrote over half the lyrics on Straight Outta Compton and didn't get paid appropriately, apparently.
Damn.
So then there was like a big public feud. And then Dr. Dre left in 1991 and joined Death Row Records over a contract dispute with Eazy-E. So 1991, Death Row Records. The story I read, which I didn't write down, was that Dre got out of his contract with Eazy-E because Suge Knight showed up and
Killed him.
that is not the person that Suge Knight is currently in prison for murdering.
Eazy-E still alive.
Eazy-E is still alive. Luckily.
That we know of. He might be Tupac. I heard Tupac is still alive.
I'm not going to go into any of the conspiracy theories about Tupac and Biggie, but I did read some really good ones about Suge Knight. Like, apparently he had, like, police that he was paying off, and, like, maybe Suge Knight himself had Tupac killed so that he could kill Biggie because maybe Tupac was going to leave. I don't know. The whole thing it's very, there's lots of wacky theories about what might have happened.
I don't know who killed who. Every fucking just people are dying and killing each other, and
It's
I
very
can't
feudal.
keep track of
Very
it.
feudal, the rap game.
It's
You
like
know, there's turf and territory and boundaries, and sometimes they get crossed lyrically.
Gang of Thrones.
I
Game of
feel like
Thrones.
if you just stay away from Suge Knight, you're okay.
I mean, just the name makes me anxious.
He's getting out of
I don't even want to talk about him. Like, I don't even want him coming to find me.
he's getting out of prison in 10 years.
Oh man.
And we are not going to say anything bad about him
Yeah, I
We
heard.
don't want to be on a list anymore.
I heard he's a perfectly fine person.
He's a sugar bear. He's a sugar bear.
Yeah.
Okay,
And Snoop Dogg's wholesome.
as we established earlier.
I'm
Yeah.
starting to feel like did Snoop Dogg just have like the most major of like PR, like when like a PR person comes in and fucking turns it all around. Was this like the greatest PR turnaround of all time?
I don't think he needs a PR
Yeah.
person. I think he just comes out and says what's on his mind, and people are like, "All right, you're
Yeah,
cool."
you're fucking
Yeah.
cool. I mean, like, he was drawing crowds just, in school.
But like, how do
Right?
you go from like a murder or whatever to like Martha Stewart's best friend? You know what I mean? Like that is some excellent.
Money.
I'm trying to tell you.
Okay.
Money helps. Money helps a
Look,
lot.
you know what?
Collabs help a lot.
So I don't know, but he's like still like the king of like does not matter what he's done. He's still like just a cool, chill dude.
Yeah, of course. You know?
You know?
Yeah. So how did we get there?
Yeah.
Steph?
Okay. Let's go back to your story. 1991. Suge Knight kills Eazy-E.
Yeah,
I did not say that.
close enough.
Isn't it how Death Row Records started, though? So it's basically just Suge Knight and Dre and this one other guy who's like a producer guy, and they need money. So they go to this guy named Michael Harrio Harris, the Godfather.
Oh.
This guy was in prison for 33 years. He was in prison because he was like the guy bringing crack to LA, period.
Wow.
He was working with the Bloods and the Crips and a Colombian cartel.
So is he buying it directly from the CIA? Is that how
He was-
that works?
I cannot believe the CIA wasn't even mentioned
okay.
when I read about Harrio.
They're very good at
Yeah,
their cover-ups.
they can scrub the internet. They're good.
They scrubbed Wikipedia super well.
Yeah, they have somebody whose job it is to literally sit there all day deleting all the requests to.
You know what? The CIA is the internet.
Yeah,
If it gets on there, they have a code that immediately deletes it.
right.
I was actually reading about the.
In fact, this podcast episode just got deleted.
Just stop talking like in the in
no
mid-sentence.
longer. It's no longer on the internet. The CIA got us.
when I was reading about the South Bronx burning in the 70s while hip hop was being invented, there was like a reference to MK Ultra, and like the congressional hearings for MK Ultra were going on at the time, and I didn't even click on it, you guys. I saved you an hour of editing, Marcus.
Okay.
A fucking hour. We'll talk about it later.
That's
Bonus
fine.
episode.
Bonus episode on Oh My God on MK Ultra. That would
Did
be
they make a coffee?
amazing.
I don't know anything about MK Ultra actually.
I will find a way to work a coffee into that
Okay.
story. Stay tuned.
How
next
do
week,
I
you
not
guys.
know anything about it? Is this one of your 1970s Weather Underground things?
It's right up in there. This
Okay.
is like a Black Panther thing.
Oh,
This is a
okay.
Black Panther thing.
It was before my time.
Okay, so this guy Harrio is like making $2 million a day. He's got like a day. He's got like
Oh, crack.
nationwide crack
Right.
ring that he is solely in charge of.
Wow.
Nice.
Solely.
That's,
so he eventually gets busted. He's in prison. Somehow he keeps all his money.
Yeah.
All of it.
Right.
And he's like trying to make up for his bad deeds by just like pumping money into like small businesses in the community. There's another like gray area dude, right? So
Was he like a mobster, like an Italian mobster?
No,
guy?
he was like a black guy. He was like he was the original gangsta.
He's what we call a plug in the industry. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't know that term.
Oh, he's a connector. He's the plug. He's the guy that you go to.
Oh, I get it.
Yeah.
But he sounds like a next level.
Yeah.
He
He's
was
the OG plug.
Yeah, he
He's
was
the guy.
big. He was a big guy. So, they somehow Suge Knight like goes to prison and meets with him, and this guy ends up like
Wait, Suge Knight just goes to the visitor's room.
Yeah.
Okay.
on this particular
Yes,
occasion.
okay.
Right.
Suge Knight just goes to visit and talks to Harrio, and he's like, "Yes, I will totally bankroll this Death Row Records project."
Amazing.
There's one other way that they got some money for their project, which is, maybe you've heard the story, Vanilla Ice, the Ice Ice Baby song. Suge Knight managed a guy who supposedly wrote that song or helped write that song and didn't get any royalties. So this is the story about Suge Knight, like, showing up at Vanilla Ice's hotel room, pulling him out on the balcony, dangling him by his ankles, and getting him to agree to turn over the royalties from Ice Ice Baby so that they could start up Death Row Records
Wow.
with the money.
My
cool.
mouth is wide open.
You have not heard that
I have
story?
not.
No.
Apparently, it's slightly exaggerated. Later, Vanilla Ice said he didn't dangle me. He did threaten to throw me off the balcony. But the dangling over the balcony story was like legend for like decades. And they did end up going to court over it or settling somehow eventually. But it was only after Suge Knight had like shown up several times and like threatened to kill Vanilla.
So it's like Suge Knight doesn't shake people down. He shugs people down.
Oh.
He got shugged down.
I think he's going to like that, actually. You should send that to him. You should
Yeah.
send him a letter.
He's going to listen. He's going to listen to this episode. He's going to really appreciate how nice we've been to him.
Dear Mr. Knight, you've recently been featured on our podcast.
Before we move forward, I would like to tell you what happened eventually to Harry-O, the fucking godfather with all the money in prison. He was, what's the word when a president is like
Pardoned.
pardoned?
I
Was
almost
he
called it. I
pardoned by
almost said
Donald?
it.
Wait. Let me guess. Not Bill Cosby. The other one.
Bill Clinton.
Bill Clinton.
No. It was Donald Trump's last hour
Really?
in the presidency.
Nice.
Snoop Dogg
Oh, is this why Snoop Dogg went to? Didn't he go visit?
contacted Donald Trump and said, "Will you please consider pardoning my very good friend, Harry-O?"
I
And
recently
Donald Trump
learned
did.
that process, it was like said on the internet. So allegedly, that process was a $2 million process. If you had $2 million, you could
Donald
request a pardon.
Donald Trump would give out any
Donald
pardon
Trump
for $2 million.
Yeah,
No surprise there. That
None.
is petty change to Harry-O and to Snoop Dogg.
Allegedly.
So that's
Yeah.
great.
Well, my understanding is if you were a celebrity, Donald Trump was like, "Hey, all right, cool."
yeah. Because Kanye West and Kardashian got Kevin Gates pardoned too. I think.
I think they got a woman pardon too. Some woman who is like locked up. This was like a good one.
Oh.
Like some woman who was locked up for something bogus, like killing her attacker or something like that.
Huh. Okay.
Killing her abuser.
Look.
Kardashian went ahead
you
and
go.
managed a relationship with Donald Trump and got her pardoned.
That should be
Something
Donald
nice.
Trump's legacy right there.
Yeah.
Look, you know what? The guy wasn't all bad.
He would take a bribe and do the right thing
Yeah.
accidentally
Right.
for the right price.
Yeah.
You know what? That's fine, I guess. If you can be bought into doing the right thing sometimes, I
And
guess.
that is really like American policy right there.
Yeah,
I mean, yeah, is he really doing anything that's un-American here?
I guess not. I said I wasn't going to tell any Suge Knight stories, but you just reminded me of a good one. Later on, when things were kind of falling apart at Death Row, I'm going outside my timeline now. And Michael Harry-O was still in prison. His wife was actually like handling a lot of things. He was making a lot of decisions for Death Row from prison. And by the way, currently Death Row Records is owned by Snoop Dogg. And
Oh.
the chief operations officer is Harry-O.
Ha!
Amazing.
Wow.
Cool.
So they're still super tight.
Wait, if he got locked up, what? Would that have been the 90s? Wasn't he about to get out anyways? What was Donald Trump pardoning? Because didn't you say Harry-O got locked
He
up
had
for
like
33
another
years?
8 years or something to
Oh,
go.
okay.
Yeah. He served quite a few years. Yeah.
Yeah.
So his wife, Suge Knight was not giving his wife the money that not Suge's wife, Harry-O's wife, was supposed to be collecting money from Suge, and Suge was not paying her. And that ended up being like a lawsuit, and it was like a situation where like Suge's like house got raided, and they like looked at all of his accounts, and they were
Oh.
gonna like take his money because this was like a legit business deal on paper, and
I feel like you do, I feel like it's extremely irresponsible to try to fucking cheat this Harry-O guy.
Yeah, that's a bad idea.
I feel
it's a
like
bad idea.
This guy is like top level.
I mean, I know Suge Knight is like super badass and everything, but like you still got to kind of know your place. Right?
I know, exactly. I feel like this was not a good idea.
It was a bad idea. But they like investigate Suge Knight and he literally has like $11 in his bank account, supposedly. So like I don't think he was actually bankrupt. I think he just had it like hidden other places.
Oh, had already moved it. Yeah.
Yeah, but
Damn.
that was funny. He had like $25,000 in jewelry, $2,000 in clothing, and $11 in his bank account was like all of his assets. Like that's just what's on him.
Right.
That's like
Yeah.
You know what? I think that the guy from our last episode would tell him he's a very smart businessman.
I think you're right.
Or 2 episodes ago, I should say.
Yeah.
It was in Puerto Rico. That's where all the money was.
Shout out to whoever made me this gin and juice.
Yeah.
I really appreciate it.
Yeah, I felt like it was episode appropriate to sip on some gin and juice.
It's CBD juice.
Yeah,
CBD
and CBD
juice.
infused elderberry and passion fruit juice.
High class.
I feel it healing me.
Is your mind on your money, or is your money on your mind? Because I got both.
I feel like that's not, I feel like when Snoop says it, it's a good thing. But when I say my money's on my mind, it's like a negative.
It's like you can't stop thinking about being broke.
Oh, I see. That's like the inverse. Yeah.
Okay, so let me see if I can get this timeline right. So 1991, Death Row Records.
Boom.
1992, Dre releases The Chronic. And Snoop is like the special guest star on 10 out of the 15 tracks.
But bam.
And like steals the show.
Nice.
Like nobody raps like this guy. His voice, like rap up to this point, there was like a lot of angry yelling, right? And like all of a sudden Snoop comes in with this like, somebody called him a molasses drawl. Just like soft and slow, but fast at the same time. How does he do that?
Yeah.
I don't know. Amazing. So that comes out. I didn't write down the month, but it's 1992. August of 1993 is the shooting incident that Snoop is involved in. So he's already sort of famous for being on the Chronic all over the place. And 3 months after the shooting, he's going to release Doggy Style, and it is going to be amazing. So he's like right on the cusp of fame. He has, with money from the Chronic, he has purchased a new car, and he's moved to a nicer apartment. But like, that his life is the same. You know what I mean? It's like he's living the same life. So he has a run-in at some point with this guy named Philip Woldemariam, and Philip pulls a gun on Snoop. And it's some kind of like, you just moved to this neighborhood. This is my neighborhood. You need to know your place. You think you're hot shit. You're not. It's like that kind of thing. But nothing comes of it, Snoop is just like, all right, and like walks away from it. So sometime weeks later, and this is August of 93, Snoop is in his apartment with his bodyguard, and he hears something, an altercation outside. So he looks out the window, and he sees his friend, Sean Abrams, outside, and there's like this car full of gangbangers from the neighborhood, and one of them is this Philip Woldemariam guy.
I just want to put out a note too, just to paint a picture of the 90s. Like I feel like the 90s everywhere, like high gang activity, high lawlessness, like drug dealing, crime, everything I feel like was wild in the 90s. So like even though Snoop Dogg's getting some fame, moving up into maybe a nicer apartment or whatever, I feel like this is why there's still like drama.
There's so much drama in the LBC.
And like just everywhere though. New York, Chicago, everywhere.
Yeah.
So much Aurora, Illinois.
That's true. Aurora was a mess back then.
Yeah, so everything was a mess in the 90s.
Yeah. I think those are the top 4 messes. Like you
The
just said.
90s?
Yeah, you said New York, LA, Chicago, and Aurora. Top 4 in the
Top
country.
4.
Yeah.
Yep.
So Snoop is in his apartment with his bodyguard, Malik, and he sends, is that his name? Malik. Yeah, he sends Malik down to the car, and whatever Malik says or does or shows them, they drive away, and
Okay.
everything's fine.
Cool.
So later that same night, Snoop and Malik and this Sean Abrams guy are driving around in Snoop's new Jeep, and Snoop is driving, and Malik is in the passenger seat. And they pull up to this park, and this guy, Philip Waldemariam,
Why is he driving at night going to a park?
Because they're driving around. You know, it's the 90s. What do you do?
I mean, that's true. It was the 90s.
allegedly he was going to the recording studio.
Okay.
Okay.
So they,
I want to be fair here and
Right.
give this like a unbiased.
Yeah. Back when gas was like
Questioning.
under $1, you just
You just
drove
drove.
around.
I mean, that's
It's
true.
like 95 cents a gallon.
Yeah,
you're right.
yeah, exactly.
That's true.
Dude, just fucking drive around, do nothing, fucking waste gas.
The prosecutor did suggest that they were hunting these guys.
Oh.
That was suggested that they were out looking for them. So they pull up to this park, and Philip and a couple of his buddies are sitting at a picnic table eating Mexican food, as one does late at night in LA.
Just having a
Sounds so
picnic,
good.
a late
Sounds
night
great.
picnic.
Yeah.
hungry.
There's some sort of confrontation. Malik never gets out of the car. Nobody gets out of the car.
Can I just say that Philip Wozniak or whatever his last name is like the
Waldemariam.
least gangster name like ever. That's all. That's all. I just want to say.
He's 20 years old, and he's an Ethiopian immigrant.
Okay.
Philip. It is a strange name.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, it could be, from colonial days. It's
Oh,
like, it
man.
sounds like a colonial
Yeah.
era name.
Don't fuck with Philip
Waldemariam.
Waldemariam.
Yeah.
That guy's a hard ass.
I wonder what his mom called him when he was a baby.
Aw.
Philip Waldemariam.
So it's a topless Jeep that they're driving in, and Malik stands up in the Jeep and is like yelling at these guys, and Philip gets up from the table and starts walking towards the Jeep. And, you know, here's where things are a little iffy. Like, allegedly, Philip is drawing his gun before Malik shoots.
Self-defense.
Yes. The prosecutor tries to say that Philip was shot in the back, but the
Exit wound.
The gun evidence or whatever?
guy, whoever the coroner
Coroner?
or whatever, he says it went through his side.
Oh.
So it went like directly through from one side of him to the other side. His two friends that were with him, Jason London and Deshaun Joseph, both hid the gun. They took the gun, they hid the gun, said there was no gun. He was never armed.
That's a little sus.
Little sus.
Jason London ends up admitting on the stand that they did hide the gun. And he also says on the stand that Philip had a reputation for irrational behavior and that he was drawing on the car and that it was like legit self-defense. His testimony really saved Snoop's ass. And also what didn't hurt was the prosecutor in his opening statements admitting that the LAPD had fucked up majorly and there was a ton of missing evidence, including the clothing Philip was wearing, shell casings from the scene.
That all would have been helpful.
Everything just fucking disappeared. And there were several jurors who could like visibly rolled their eyes when the prosecutor says this, because this is like immediately following the O.J. Simpson trial. There's so much like bullshit going on with the LAPD at this point. I meant to look up when is this in connection with like Rodney King and all that? Like this is post all like people hate the LAPD. Everybody hates the
I feel like the
LAPD.
LAPD is problematic and has always been problematic. I don't know
Always.
how they are today, but I imagine there's probably still problematic.
Still problematic.
Yeah, this was kind of the height of their bad reputation. I feel
mean,
like,
the city-
at
this
this
was-
point.
There was just that fucking city council like controversy, you know, the racism at the city council, the very tippy top of the city council, and they're all in bed together. So
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but that's how it works in local government.
I do like, but did they lose that stuff on purpose to help Snoop Dogg?
I don't think so. I think they're just fucking
Yeah,
morons.
they just fucking show up and they're like, you know, do the bare minimum. black on black crime. They don't give a fuck, man.
Yeah, they're probably just like up some
Yeah.
fucking gangster kids shooting at each other
Yeah.
again.
Yep.
But I mean, I don't see why Snoop Dogg needed to be at that park to begin with. You know what I mean? Unless they just went there to talk trash, or they were driving by the park and they happened to see him there and were like,
know.
let's talk trash.
I mean, that's what they say, is that they just happened to spot him.
But they could have just kept driving. They didn't need to stop and
That's
talk
true.
And that
trash.
was Snoop driving, and that's why Snoop was in so much trouble, too.
But then on the other hand, they're just young punks at that
Right,
age.
right.
You know what I mean?
And it's
kids
in the neighborhood, you know.
Kids late teens, early 20s are fucking dumbasses.
Yep.
Like,
Yeah.
I don't care where you live, you're a dumbass.
Don't forget how young they were. That's right. Yeah.
But that still sucks that that kid had to die.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
does.
death at
I don't
any
like
age.
that.
I do believe there
Always
was
lost.
some sort of civil suit eventually, and Snoop ended up paying their family some money. And he has said that he stopped talking about murder and death in his lyrics after that incident.
I mean, yeah, I would hope that it would be somewhat
Probably
traumatic.
smart too. I mean, you know, in case shit happens, they're like, Snoop's always rapping about killing people.
Well, I guess
you know,
that's
they
true,
use that
too.
against you,
That's
right?
true.
He's a murderer.
You would hope that it was like witnessing the death of somebody, though. That kind of fucks with somebody, maybe.
Maybe it could also just
You
be
hope?
like protection. You know.
It could be that, too.
Anyways, probably his I'll bet you his like attorney was like, number one advice: stop fucking rapping about killing people, you dumbass.
All right, so the shooting itself happens August 25th, 1993. November of 93, Doggy Style comes out. This is the first and only album in the history of music ever to debut as a first album at number one.
Wow.
It debuted at number one on the regular Billboard charts, number one in rap and R&B also, but number one on the Billboard charts.
Well, they
No,
say
hot
no press is bad press.
That's true. It's actually not that funny. I do kind of wonder if the trajectory would have been any different if this hadn't happened, because there was so much press around it.
I mean, he was a fucking household name at that point, I'm
right,
sure.
right. And the Chronic, and everybody knew he was good. They liked his voice. They wanted more of it.
Well,
so
it's
he
like,
was already like,
You know how the fucking tabloids are, though.
Yeah,
You have one
right.
person who like just had a bunch of hits, then is now on trial for murder, and
Right.
then their album comes out.
right.
Like boom, boom, boom.
Right.
I would probably just go murder someone on purpose just to get that kind of. No, I'm just kidding. I would never murder anybody.
what? Maybe
Marcus,
we-
cut that.
Maybe people would listen to this fucking podcast a little more, Jenny, if you would just take one for the team
And go murder
and
someone.
go murder someone.
Who should I murder? Who deserves it?
Let's talk about that after the podcast, because I've got some ideas.
I don't want to murder anyone.
All right.
How about this?
You're not going to get famous without rapping about
I would
murdering.
rather have a sex tape go viral.
Oh, yeah, that's fine. We can do
I
that.
would rather have that
Who are
than
you going to
murder.
make a sex tape with?
I could be convinced.
I need someone more famous than you.
No offense.
Suge Knight.
Oh boy, I'm gonna move along. I'm just gonna move along.
That's
We'll look on
definitely
Marcus's
not gonna
face
get cut
tells
out.
me.
I think, yeah, you should definitely move on.
Shall we
Okay.
brew some coffee?
No. All right. The shooting happens in August of 93. The album comes out in November of 93. A year later, September of 94, the MTV Music Awards. I don't know if you guys remember this. I watched a clip and I was like, holy shit, I remember this.
Wasn't there shooting at the MTV Music Awards?
Not this one.
Okay.
Not this one. Not 1994. This is the one where Michael Jackson and Elvis's daughter, Lisa Marie Presley, come out and they're like allegedly dating and they like make out on stage, but it's super weird. And Roseanne Barr was hosting. And the lineup of performers is crazy. There's just like, I mean, this was like also kind of the height of MTV, right? It's
Yeah.
just like a really big deal. So Snoop Dogg comes out and performs Murder Was the Case. You remember that song?
I do remember that song.
And it's like there's a whole gospel choir on stage. There's a coffin on stage. Snoop gets like rolled out in a wheelchair and then like miraculously stands up and starts walking. And
Is he acquitted of murder at this point?
no,
Okay.
he is about to face trial.
Oh, so he's not. Okay.
He performs the song. At the end of the song, he repeats several times, "I'm innocent, I'm innocent, I'm innocent." He leaves the awards show and turns himself in. Like, that is it. He like has to, he like makes this arrangement between the DA and his lawyer that he can show up for the MTV Awards before he has to go to jail. And
Wait,
await
what's he going to jail
trial.
for? He has to go
He's
for the
going-
murder?
Yes.
He doesn't get to be out on, but he's already out on bail.
He was out with like an ankle monitor, or he was in hiding and then went and got the ankle monitor after the MTV Awards. I'm a little confused by the timeline. That's
Oh, were they like building a case against him for like a year?
yes. It
and
took
they
like
finally decided
2 years before he finally went to
Okay.
trial.
I see. So they waited to indict him for like a year, and then
Yes, yes.
and then right after that, they're like, "Hey,
It was like right before the MTV Awards. They were like, "We're arresting you. You have to come in." And his lawyer was like, "Can you just do this award show real quick?" So it was like literally the same night.
Can
he
you
went
just
from one
rap
to the
about
other.
murder really quick? Totally unrelated, guys. But you know, he's just got this little thing
Oh my god!
prior to the getting arrested.
look, when you're rich and famous, they let you do it."
I guess they
don't
let you,
care.
yeah,
They-
they
you
don't-
can get all sorts of special
Yeah,
treatment.
they're like, will he sign some autographs when he's arrested? Because we can make that happen.
He and Malik, the bodyguard, and the other guy in the car are all charged. The other guy ends up, all the charges are dropped against the other guy. Snoop and Malik go to trial. They're both on trial for murder, voluntary manslaughter, conspiracy to commit assault, because they intentionally went there, allegedly, according to the prosecutor. And Snoop is accused of accessory after the fact because of being the one to drive the car.
Right.
So did they just drive away? It was like
Yes.
a hit and run, basically.
Yes. They drove away, and his friends like pulled the body away and like dumped it in like a covered parking so that it wasn't right on the street, and hid the gun.
Oh, jeez.
Jesus.
This whole thing is a mess.
It was really bad. So the jury finds them not guilty on all charges except the voluntary manslaughter charge. They were, it was a mistrial. It was like,
Like they couldn't agree.
yeah, it was like 9-3 or something in favor of acquittal. And they decided not to retry them on those charges.
If they were in Florida, they wouldn't have even brought those charges. Stand your ground.
Yeah.
Oh, well, but they were out in, I thought it is like on the street too. I was thinking that was just in your yard or
I think you
whatever,
can
but
just
that's
murder
anywhere.
anybody anywhere in Florida. It's fine.
If you're black.
That's where you should go if you want to make our podcast
Oh, yeah,
popular.
yeah. When I need to murder somebody, I'll go to Florida to do it. It's okay. You can kill anybody in Florida. You can kill children. You can kill
That's so
teenagers.
awful.
You can kill anyone. It's fine. Ron DeSantis says it's okay.
No.
That's why he's going to be president.
Says it's okay to kill them, but it's not okay to talk about them getting killed.
Yeah. You can't talk about them if they were black and you killed them. Or
What if they're
gay.
trans?
You
No.
can't talk about them if they're trans.
Okay,
You
but
can only kill them.
Okay.
But you can't talk about it. God, Jenny.
No, you
write
can.
a rap song about it.
You can brag about it,
No.
but you can't talk about how their life had meaning.
Oh, gotcha.
You can talk about how you felt threatened by their transness.
Yeah, there it is.
We're laughing because it's so ludicrous, not because it's funny.
Yes.
All right, we're gonna skip ahead in the timeline because I mean, whatever. He releases some albums. He's very successful.
He
Everything's
released
going
another
great,
album
blah,
that
blah,
was
blah.
successful. He released like every album ever was successful for like 20 years.
He's just been a smashing success.
Right.
Smashing success. There was a fallout with Suge Knight, and he's talked some shit about Suge Knight, which I'm like, I don't care how famous you are, you probably still shouldn't
Snoop
do that.
Lion, then he turned and evolved.
Right.
Oh, yeah, that was so
Right.
weird.
He's been
Yep.
like a Rastafarian. He was with Nation of Islam for like a minute.
Okay.
I think maybe there's just too many rules there.
Yeah.
I think he's trying to find himself. He's got all this in his life, but does he have meaning?
He's back with Jesus now.
He's
I
back
think
in
he
the J
found-
camp?
Yeah, back in.
Okay.
The only the other thing that I wanted to talk about for a minute, in 2003, he did a tour. By the way, we talked about his wife briefly. He has been married this whole time. He has 3 kids. He has 4 kids because in between 2 of his kids, he had another kid with another woman.
Oh.
Who, by the way, was also a previous high school girlfriend.
Oh.
He's like only into girls he was into in high school.
Wow. That's cool. Same
Same.
Z's.
Did you know Marcus and I met long after he got out of high school?
Did you?
He's got some. Is there something you're trying to tell me?
Just kidding.
You got some high school girls on the side?
No.
Yeah.
That I don't like the way that sounded. They're not high school girls. They're girls he went to high school with. There's a huge difference.
Huge difference.
Okay, you're right.
Several
You're right.
decades.
That does sound very gross. Okay.
So his wife is obviously like I don't know if they have like an arrangement or if she's just extremely forgiving or what the deal is there. But
Money. Again, I think I said it earlier in the episode, but I think money helps with a lot of things.
I mean, you can get divorced and still have money.
She could still have plenty of
yeah,
money.
but I'm saying like, but you know, you have to do the math, and it's like, do we get separated? Then I get this,
she
and it's like
loves
she loves him,
him.
you know,
I think she
right?
loves
Exactly.
him.
So at the end of the day, you're
So
like, we'll
sweet.
just stay together.
Hey, Han, I want to hear about their relationship.
Yeah.
Well, this is actually about like something
So he cheated on his wife at
far
some point.
outside their relationship that it's
Yeah.
like unbelievable that he got away with this. So when he was a little boy, he always dreamed of being a pimp.
Oh,
Because he like saw a movie
Yeah.
or something.
right.
So in 2003, he goes on a tour and decides, this is my big chance. I'm going to be a pimp finally. So he gets like a bunch of prostitutes and gets them a separate bus.
Wait, in 2003. So this is like 10
Well
years after he's been
after.
famous.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. This
Snoop
is
Dogg.
just
But guys, I'd like to remind you his lesson learned. Pimping ain't easy.
no, he loved it actually.
Oh, okay.
He was a natural, he says.
Oh.
Okay, let's put this in a business perspective. Like, let's take Las Vegas, for example. They have, like, places.
No, actually, it is completely illegal in Las Vegas. It's legal in Nevada.
Okay, Nevada. So, like, the state of Nevada, that's what I meant to say. You know, like, you may be a person who says, I would like to be a middleman for sex. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And there are women who want to make money. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And there are men who want to pay them. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And
Basically
maybe,
like
like,
Facebook.
well, let's talk about, too, like, I think pimps get a bad rap because
Match. Yeah.
so many of them are about the control and abuse
That's
of
right.
women.
Yes.
Now, if somebody comes in and is like, I would like to be an ethical middle person of sexual transactions.
Right, between
I would-
two consenting adults, and you're just looking
You're
for
just a
demographic.
facilitator.
Right.
That's right.
Exactly.
That's right.
It's like a business decision.
It's
Still
not
fucking weird.
It's not on me on what people want to post on my website. Is just I'm facilitating the transaction, but I don't care what they're saying to each other.
Well, I mean, it does. It's like, I think one of the jobs of a pimp is to protect
Right.
like the women
Yes.
And
from
serve.
being like from men from predatory
Yes.
men and predatory clients. So if somebody can be an ethical protector of women who would like to make money in this fashion, then I think there is a place where this is okay.
Okay.
I
so
think
Jenny's
that
pro
the-
pimp.
No, I am what I'm pro.
Put that on a t-shirt.
Yeah.
I would say what I am is pro women making money in a way that they feel comfortable making money, and I am pro women doing it in a way that is safe and that they are protected.
It's like a manager.
I am not
really like.
I am not pro women being taken advantage of or abused or harmed, which tends to happen a lot in a pimp sex worker situation.
Right.
Okay.
So
So
that
Snoop
being
Dogg
said,
offered 401k or benefits.
if
or,
he's offering a 401k or benefits, I'm about it.
I mean, with 20 workers, you could get a good group plan. I know.
I think
Are
he
they-
had up to 10 at one time.
Okay.
They had their own tour bus, and they had their own hotel rooms next to his suite. And this was not like a street prostitute type
Right.
situation. This was like a high-end type situation.
Oh, wait. Can I say one thing? I do believe that the PC term is sex worker these days, not prostitute.
Oh, I got in trouble for this on another episode.
Yeah.
You're right. We are all pro sex worker on this
Yes.
podcast,
Yes.
right?
Uh-huh.
Like I'm
Actually, yeah, I am pro sex worker.
high four, or did you just high
I
four
did
me?
high four you. Anyways,
It's a high 4.5.
so Snoopaloop, you know,
No, Snoop Lion.
Snoop Lions,
Snoop D-O-double-G.
you know,
Okay, I want to hear about him
mystery
being...
agent service.
I would like to hear about him being a facilitator of sexual goods.
So what would happen is like people, like famous, like athletes, professional athletes and celebrities would like come to his shows, and they'd come backstage and he'd be like, hey, why don't you come back to the hotel? I've got a girl for you. And he said that he was bringing in more money through these women than he was through the concerts that he was being paid to do. But he didn't take any money from the women at all. He was just doing it for fun, and he let them keep all the money.
Wow,
That's
What
That's a
did
good
I
pimp.
just say?
it's a good pimp.
That's what he told Rolling Stone magazine. If I was going to be a sex worker,
I'd work for Snoop.
I mean, honestly.
I mean, okay. I mean, if I'm his wife and he's like, hey, look, I got these guys. I know they want to pay money. And I know there's these women that I could hook them up. Are you cool with me doing this? If Marcus came to me and said that, I'd probably be like, I don't really feel comfortable with this. But if I was
Bummer.
cool,
'Cause I
like
thought
his
Jenny
wife,
was about to be like, yeah, totally. And I'm like,
it.
okay, I think I've been given freedom to do a
There
new
goes
business
my
venture.
break room at the warehouse. So much for that couch.
actually,
Yeah.
Steph, we've got something to ask you.
Got some,
We're adding a new role.
be like a car
Would you
wash.
like?
Like a 10-minute turn.
Would you like to? We're going to offer it to our current employee first.
Wait, so I'm head of HR and I'm a sex worker in the break room? Is that what's happening now?
Yes.
Well, shall we brew some coffee?
Anyways,
No. I am so not even close to the end of this episode.
Sorry, Marcus.
Before we started recording, Marcus
Okay.
was like, maybe you could do less research in the future. And I'm starting to understand why he feels
Maybe
that way.
and I said I would try to stop talking.
Yeah.
What's our time? Are we at
We're
3
at-
hours yet?
We are 1 hour and 20 minutes.
Oh, that's it. Good.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Plenty of
That's right.
time.
That's not bad.
So we got 20 minutes to do the tasting.
I'm just about done with Snoop Dogg. So, in addition to being a rapper and a pimp, here are some of his other business ventures, in addition to the coffee company also. Acting.
Natch.
Lots of TVs, lots of movies, his reality show with his family, plus Martha Stewart potluck dinner party.
He's done cameos everywhere. Everybody's had a Snoop Dogg cameo.
Why hasn't he been here?
I mean, we've got an empty chair for him. Snoop, come on for a follow-up.
He wrote a cookbook. He produced a porn film.
I own the cookbook.
You do?
I do. I
He
bought
does.
it. Or you got
I
it
got
for
it
me.
from Marcus
Yeah.
for a gift.
Oh my God, we should cook a recipe for a Love It or Leave
Ooh,
It.
that's
Sure.
a great idea.
I'm really sad that I forgot. I thought of it 2 weeks ago and then completely forgot to pick up a bottle of his wine
Oh.
for a Love It or Leave It
Wow,
episode.
shit.
He's always been a fan of professional wrestling. He's now heavily involved with the WWE, WrestleMania. He was like a what do you call it?
Announcer?
Announcer.
Uh-huh.
Yep. And then one time he was announcing and like something went wrong and he had to just like jump right into the ring and beat a guy up, and he did.
That's
Holy
so
shit.
cool.
Isn't he amazing?
Yeah, Snoop.
We talked before the episode about how he narrated some Planet Earth episodes, Planet Earth, on the Jimmy Kimmel Show. And there was a change.org petition to get him to narrate all of the Planet Earths from now on because he's so awesome. He's super into NFTs.
Oh, okay.
Super into NFTs.
It's like crypto. It's like a visual crypto.
Yeah. Like where you would like sell art online and it was supposedly worth something.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense to me. I know what it is, but it makes no sense to me.
He's got some kind of Call of Duty game appearance. I don't know anything about that.
Huh.
He's got an app. He's invested in Reddit. He's got a weed delivery startup. He's got a digital media business, a brand of cannabis products, an esports league, and he's part owner of the Ottawa Senators hockey team.
That's super fucking random. Canadian.
He also owns Death Row Records, like owns it outright.
You know what? This
Wow.
is. We have had a lot of people on this podcast that are like the type of guy who's like, I want it, and he goes out and gets it. Like, for example, La Colombe guy. I think Snoop Dogg fucking like takes like number one spot for like dude who wants it and does it.
And he does it in such like a laid back, mellow way.
Yeah.
But
He's
he
got it.
fucking goes, you know?
I mean, you gotta think his day just checking up on all of those businesses and keeping track and getting reports and shit. He's got to spend at least 12 hours a day just being a businessman. He probably works like crazy. You would think he has a laid back lifestyle, but like he's probably constantly.
He probably
fucking
doesn't
working.
even work, man. He probably just gets the checks at the end.
Well, I think he's
of the
probably
day.
definitely an investor, but I think like there's going to be reports that you have to go
Yeah.
over, and you
But
have
he's
to be
not running
checking
the
up
companies.
on. I know.
He's just getting the checks and the reports.
You guys, he smokes 80 blunts a day.
Right.
How
Yeah.
much work can he possibly
That's
do?
what I'm saying. He just shows up.
80.
I heard that Snoop Dogg has a professional on staff blunt roller.
Yes, he does.
Yeah.
He's going to get lung cancer. He's got to slow down on that.
Oh, maybe he'll try some edibles, mix things up.
He really needs to think about his lung health.
A professional on staff roller of blunts.
Well,
my
if I were
God.
Snoop Dogg and I smoked as much weed as he did, I would have a professional rolling for
Yeah,
me too.
of course.
I
But I've
mean,
got a
of
lot
course.
of. Look, he doesn't have a lot of time. There's only 24 hours in the day.
I promise you, he might be an investor in all of these things, but if he's not a dumbass, so I'm pretty sure that he's definitely somehow invested and definitely takes this shit seriously, despite his public persona. Because you don't get involved in this many businesses, and you don't get involved in this much shit by just being a slacker.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, I think, yeah, you don't do all this. Yeah.
The last thing I have to say about him is just about his charitable works, which he doesn't talk about. He doesn't,
Oh God.
like, he's
I
super
thought
quiet about
You set
it.
me up. I thought you were going to be like his charitable works, which he doesn't do.
He doesn't do that. No, he doesn't believe in charity.
End
Pull
of
yourself
episode.
up by your bootstraps. He
Just like all those other guys
Taking a
that we've
public
had on these
stance.
podcasts.
Fuck
The
charity.
guys who do it all.
he feels like if he talks about his charitable donations, then he's like looking for attention. So he doesn't like to talk about it. He gives a bunch of money to children's hospitals. That's like the number one thing. Well, that's the number two thing. The number one thing is his youth football league.
Huh.
He decided in 2005, as soon as he
So
was done
cute.
pimping, he was like, I should do something for the kids now. So he started a youth football league for like underprivileged youth in LA. And at first he just wanted to like give money to it and not participate because he didn't want to. He feels like he's looking, you know, he doesn't want people to think he's looking for attention. But when he showed up to like the games and the practices and the kids were like so excited to meet him and wanted photos with him and everything, and he realized there was actually like a benefit to putting his face with this club.
This is so adorable.
This is now the largest youth football league in California. And there's also a special needs division for kids with like physical, mental, and developmental disabilities. 50 teams, 1,500 players. It's like enormous.
That's crazy.
Like he's had something like 20 or 30 kids go on to like professional
Wow.
football players. Yeah. He also gives away 3,000 turkeys every Thanksgiving.
Aw,
I don't know. I
that's
just thought
fucking
that was
wholesome.
cute.
That's
Yeah.
so cute.
Through another charity than he is, or
I don't, or he just like out of the trunk of his car. I'm not sure.
crazy.
Did you enjoy getting a turkey from Modest Coffee, or was that weird? Marcus and I wanted to bring back the holiday turkey from like the 50s. But
you didn't actually buy a turkey.
I
did
gave
you?
her a turkey one year, and Teresa. They both got turkeys.
Me and Teresa both got turkeys, and me and Teresa both texted each other and were like, "What the fuck are we gonna do with this turkey?" But we both cooked turkeys, and they were delicious.
Would you like a turkey again?
No.
Yeah, that was the year we were like, let's get everyone a turkey.
I love it in theory.
I know it's a great idea, but then I was like, what do you do with the turkey?
I was like, in fairness, I was like, whatever we spent, and we should just do that as a gift card.
Yeah.
I feel like that's way more like useful.
Just give me $30.
Yeah, but there's something really fun about driving out to the turkey farm and buying a turkey and then giving it away.
So who is this for? Is it for the person giving, or is it for the person receiving?
It's for the person giving.
It's for me, so I can drive to the turkey farm.
This is not for you, Steph. Enjoy my turkey.
You could just go buy yourself a turkey.
I think we did buy ourselves a turkey, too.
Right.
But like that box, it's so vintage. It felt so 50s.
You got a hoka.
Everything about it was 1950s.
Fucking real turkey, man.
I feel like we might still have that box in our basement somewhere holding some important papers.
Can I tell you, my mom said my grandma worked at a bank and they gave out hoka turkeys back when my grandma worked there.
Yeah.
Aww.
So this tradition, it started and it's not stopping.
I've only done it once.
Yeah. Last year, right?
No, this was like 2 years ago. We didn't do it last
What
year.
about a honey baked ham that I just have to like heat up for 15 minutes and don't actually have to cook for 4 hours?
You know,
What
I'll
about
push
that?
for a gift card. I think I'll push for a gift card this year.
What about just a
honey
bottle of
baked
whiskey?
Bottle of whiskey. A bottle.
No, it has to be fucking wholesome.
What
I'm
if
sorry.
you put a bottle of whiskey inside a Hoka turkey box?
I thought you were going to say inside a hoka turkey. I'll put it inside a turkey.
Terwiskin or whatever. All right. Marcus, I don't know what our time is, but I only want to talk about the actual coffee company for 5 minutes because Snoop is obviously not roasting fucking coffee.
I'd like to
Right.
see him try.
So tell me about this coffee company.
So when you look at the website for this Indo coffee, it looks very like sexy lifestyle brand.
Sure.
There's lots of girls in bikinis with the Indo written across their chest and stuff like that.
Cool.
Fuel the dream is the tagline for Indo coffee.
I expected more from you, Snoop Dogg.
But they do mention that the roaster is a guy named Michael Riyadi, who's an Indonesian coffee entrepreneur. So I looked up his deal, thinking like maybe I'd find like a really legit coffee roaster.
Guys, they're on a yacht. I'm on his website right now.
Yeah, they're on. Of course, they're on.
Yeah, with a DJ, lots of bikinis and dancing, mostly women. I didn't know women were this into the coffee. Actually, all women on this boat. So they know the power of ownership, according to the website.
All right, so I look up this Michael Riyadi guy. He has another coffee company that's called Tentera Coffee. This is a surf and coffee roasting company because apparently Michael Riyadi is super into surfing. 1% of the proceeds from this company go to buy surfboards for underprivileged kids.
Oh, okay.
Which is like nice, I guess.
Yeah, I'm sure like they still haven't like made enough money
For,
to
like,
fucking
one
give one surfboard away. Right.
Who is the underprivileged kid who's like, I don't care about having food or shoes. If
Right.
only I had a surfboard.
Only.
I mean, maybe. It's
You know,
LA. I don't know.
It's LA. It's
You know what?
feels LA.
We do not live in California.
Thank God Michael Riyadi is there for those kids.
Maybe he was a poor kid who wanted a surfboard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe he was a poor kid.
There it is.
Stick with me. So he talks about like he was born in Jakarta. He spends his time between LA and Bali, Indonesia. His family, he comes from a family of entrepreneurs, and they have worked so hard for what they have. And his family constantly talks about business, apparently. When he was a little kid at the dinner table, they were just constantly talking about business. He learned everything from his family, his grandpa especially. He was 22 years old, started up a little bike shop. That's how Michael Riyadi learned about business. He went to college. He was in real estate for 13 years. And then in 2017, he got into the coffee business.
Sure.
He believes in starting small and thinking big. And all of his coffee is direct trade. He himself handpicks each coffee that he sells on the Tentera website.
Cool.
And
Little
he's
curator.
just getting it all from Indonesia.
And he's getting it all from Indonesia. He's Indonesian. He's getting it from Indonesia. This is his, like, someday when we run out of coffees, we got to go back and try one of these coffees from his website, I feel like. But, he works hard. He works 18 hours a day. He's just, like, really a dedicated person. So His grandpa's name is Mokhtar Riadi. He started with a bike shop, and then he went into banking, and then he opened the Lippo Group.
Damn.
They do property management and development. They're the largest real estate developer in Indonesia.
Wow.
Their investments include retail, media, real estate, banking, natural resources, hospitality, and healthcare. His personal net worth is $1.5 billion.
I would have to guess, if I had to guess, that his grandpa maybe helped him get his coffee business started.
How dare you?
I mean, I don't think he was poor with surfboards either.
That's what pissed me off. Then, yeah. So then I was like 1% for
Right.
surfboards, 15 cents for every bag of coffee.
Okay.
Yeah, goes towards
Goes towards surfboards.
surfboards. Cool.
Shall we smoke a blunt?
Yeah, let's do this.
Modest Coffee roasts the highest quality single origin coffees without the snobbery. They take the guesswork out of buying specialty coffee by carefully curating green coffees and sorting them to one of their tiers based on cupping score, price, flavor notes, and roast level. Go to www.modest.coffee/no bad reviews to see what they're roasting today. Pip pip cheerio!
And we're back.
It's
Brewing some Indo coffee.
brewing and it smells pretty good. I mean, it is a dark roast and it does smell roasty,
Yeah.
but it smells good.
Yeah. And, I had a feeling this might be up your alley.
Right.
I did.
The beans smell pretty good in the bag.
It's got a good dark roast on them.
Yeah, they're not like black, right? They're not like they're a very dark brown and they're a little oily, but they're not like black and super oily.
Yeah.
I think it smells good.
Nice.
I'm optimistic.
Okay. Yeah. I'm the other end of the spectrum.
Right.
I'm like lighter. I generally like the lighter roast, and this smells a little darker than I would normally go for.
Right.
But it does smell like pretty good coffee.
It doesn't smell bad.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I always like the way that roasted coffee smells. It's got a great flavor,
Yeah.
great aroma.
Right. What? Roasted coffee?
Yeah.
Is this this looks like an eco-friendly bag.
It sounds like an eco-friendly bag. It's kind of really noisy.
And you said this is whatchamacallit? Robusta?
No.
Oh, it's not?
You're confusing this with the last time. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
No, this is an Arabica. It's a Sumatra, right?
Yeah.
INDOxyz.
Yeah, I don't know what that means.
Yeah, I'm trying to understand. INDOxyz. Is that a thing? INDOxyz? It's an Indonesian specialty coffee created with the sole purpose of fueling the ambitious, the tireless. Although I would say it's maybe for the people who are tired. The risk takers, the builders, and the innovators.
Really? Does it say all that?
Yeah, I mean, it's only for those people. Oh, yeah, BioTree. They're getting these bags from Pacific Bag.
Okay, cool. Nice bags.
We have shopped with this company that makes these bags.
Amazing.
Us and Snoop Dogg.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
It's awesome. So this coffee, according to the website, the process is called wet hulling.
Okay.
What is
Okay.
that? Describe that.
I think that's just another name for washed coffee, right? Where they
Yeah.
break it's a water process where they break the exterior of the bean, like the fruit, off, and then they're left with the beans.
It's not really anything special. It's pretty common.
I just hadn't heard that term before.
Yeah.
Wet hulling. Okay.
Yeah, it's just
Cool.
another name for mechanical separating. Sometimes you'll hear it called mechanical separation of coffee too. They probably got a Panagos wet huller.
Oh, you know what? I snapped a screenshot of this guy's coffee company page. This is the Tentera company, his
Okay.
like other company, because there's like a bunch of guys standing in front of a roaster, and it looks pretty small.
Yeah, I want to see too. I'm going to guess that it's probably still a small company.
Oh yeah,
You can make it
but they've got five dudes standing around.
5 dudes roasting on a 40-pound roaster.
Appears to be a 15 kilo would be my guess.
Let me see.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Can
Steph,
you
I just
be
broke your
careful
phone.
with my phone.
Sorry.
Do you think that's even a 15?
It doesn't look tiny.
15 pound maybe.
That looks like a tiny little roaster.
Isn't that funny?
You said these are on their website?
Yeah, this is the Tentera website.
Maybe this was back in the day. These are old photos.
I mean,
Company
they
that
started in
2019, right?
18 or 19. Yeah, old photos.
I'm trying to understand. Yeah, that's a super tiny roaster. Why? How do they employ 5 people on
I
that
know, that's
tiny
what I
ass
was looking
roaster?
at. Right.
Maybe they're just buddies.
I just looked up Snoop Dogg's net worth. Finally, does anybody want to guess?
1.2 billion.
400 million.
You guys are both way over the top.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
He's not way richer?
No.
10 million.
Well, he's richer than that.
I think he's pulling a Suge Knight.
150 million is his net worth, which is very respectable.
Very respectable.
Very respectable.
Very.
Okay, 10 Terra coffee. Let's see.
Do you want to guess Snoop Dogg's IQ? I don't know why that comes up on Google.
That's
100
pretty funny.
110.
I'm giving him genius status. 124.
You guys are both low on this one.
Oh.
It's allegedly 147, according to someone on Twitter.
That's
I don't
higher than Albert Einstein.
Really?
Yeah. So, just so you know.
I mean, imagine how brilliant he would be if he wasn't stoned all the time.
Right?
He'd be doing the
Particle
quantum.
physics,
Yes.
10 Terra coffee has like no pictures of themselves. It's all marketing.
Okay. And titties? They got titties? Or is that they just saved that for Indo?
I mean, there are some
No
kind of
titties.
sexy surfer type women.
Those
Like-
are athletes.
No, they're not actually surfing. They're just like the type of women I would
No,
imagine
I'm
hanging
sure-
out with
I'm sure
surfers.
Snoop was responsible for all those ladies.
But this was a long time ago, 182 weeks ago.
Okay.
So they have seemed to have remodeled their image.
Should we do the olfactory reveal? We kind of did a
We
little
did.
bit.
Now we can do the actual.
Yeah.
Maybe he just has
Tasting
like a
reveal.
babe for a girlfriend because like maybe it's just a bunch of like pictures of her and her on Tentera's website.
If his family is worth $150 billion or whatever, then I would hope that he did have a hot girlfriend. It's only $1.5 billion. Maybe it's one of Snoop's ladies.
Old favors.
I would love to be married to someone worth $1.5 billion.
That
No,
makes me feel great.
I'm just messing with you.
She would hate it.
I'm perfectly fine being married to someone worth $1.5 thousand
Well,
dollars.
I would love to be divorced from somebody who is worth $1.5 billion. That'd be nice. Little alimony.
Yeah.
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 Ooh, yeah, you're right.
It's not bad.
I predict that it's going to require Uncle Nearest whiskey.
You know, it's not bad.
It's not bad.
It's not bad.
Is it the shiznit or is it just shiznit?
It's got a robust roast on this guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely has dark roast vibes.
Yeah. Do you know Sumatran coffees have a very unique flavor? Typically, they're really heavy on tobacco and vanilla, and I find that does not shy away from that.
Okay, good.
Sumatran coffees are typically what are used as like an ingredient or a base for espresso coffees. That's a pretty common base for an espresso blend.
Add in, yeah. It usually doesn't take a lot, like 10-20%
Really?
of a espresso blend. Yeah. Because this little like tobacco-y funk goes a long way. Not in a bad way. You know,
But
funk.
it is-
It's one of my favorite genres.
It's a little dark for my general preferences, so I'm going to get some milk.
Yeah, I think I'll
But it's not bad. It's not bad. It just, I feel like, like we're talking about espressos or whatever.
Yeah.
Like a latte cappuccino, this would be really tasty with.
You know what this is? Traditional. Yeah.
We like to taste the coffee black. If we're not ready to give it a no bad review, then we might add some cream, some sugar, some whiskey, some whipped cream, whatever it takes to get to the point where we can give it a not bad review.
So that's our grading system, which is great. You know, we've got a process right now, kind of working our way through it right now, working our way through this process.
Yes.
You know, getting a little milk.
Ooh, heavy whipping cream. You've got heavy whipping cream.
Only for you.
Thank you.
So I added some cream, whatever.
Yeah.
Milk with 1% cream.
Mostly water.
Did you know that whole milk is only 3%? So this is like the difference between 1% and whole milk is like hardly anything.
Or it's 200%, depending on how you look at it.
I mean, if we're going on a scale of 100%, no. If you're 100% is what you got in your hand right now.
I love it.
Versus 1% to 3%. Come on, we're talking a 2% difference between whole milk and 1%. We are talking a 99% difference though.
I feel
between.
The milk that I added to it, you know, needs a little extra help.
I feel like it could use a little sugar. It's just like a little robust for me.
Yeah. It's like throwing an ice cube at a house fire. You know? It's really not going to do much to it. That house is burning.
I feel like if I had, you know what I would really like is like I feel like I would like some whipped cream.
You have whipped cream too? Holy cow, you've got all
I've
the
got
big
sugar.
guns today.
I'm gonna start out with sugar.
I tried it black. I didn't love it. It is, as someone who enjoys a darker roast, it was too dark for me. So I added some heavy whipping cream, and this is not bad.
Okay.
I think it is like a good base for a cappuccino or something, but not something you want to drink.
Hit some
on
whipping
your
cream
own.
because the milk itself,
It's not doing
just wasn't
enough
enough.
for you?
Didn't stand
No.
up enough.
I do have vanilla.
You know, I'm good here. I kind of want to go back to the gin and juice that I was having earlier today, though. You know, does he have his own gin line?
Not that I'm aware of. I didn't come across that shockingly.
How is that not like the first thing he started?
It's crazy.
right?
There should be a juice line and a jizz line.
And a
And a
jizz
jizz
line. All right, this just took a turn that we never take on this podcast.
Yeah.
Snoop Dogg and Uncle Nearest whiskey together. Is that a thing that we're trying?
Yes, we could try it.
Look,
Sure.
I think that's a appropriate combo.
I know he's into cognac. I don't know if he's into whiskey, but
Yeah.
I feel like he'd be okay with it.
I think because
Okay.
it's Uncle Nearest, yes.
Yes.
I think that's why he'd be okay with it. But maybe he's into, Jack Daniels or whatever too. I don't know.
Oh, thank you. A lot of cream and a healthy shot of Uncle Nearest.
Is that good?
So good.
It is a lot of whiskey. Thank you. That is
I feel like
delicious.
Marcus always puts a lot in.
I do too, though. I think he was just matching what I normally do.
Yeah. So, who is this coffee for, guys?
Oh, this coffee is, I mean, if you want it really dark, it is like really dark. They only had one option on the website, right?
Okay.
It was like one dark roast, or you could get a
Ready to
cold
drink.
brew, right? I don't know. It's not bad. It's just extremely dark. So
Yeah.
you need to mix. You need to make a cappuccino or mix a lot of cream with it. It's fine.
I think it's the perfect coffee for after a yacht party.
Oh.
Next day?
Next morning.
You know,
yeah.
a little pick me up.
You need something
You're
serious.
still on the boat. You're still in the fucking dock. You haven't left. Thought about leaving last night,
Am I seasick? Am I hungover? Is it both?
right? It's me and 17 ladies on a yacht
I think I might owe them $1,500.
for their time.
I think this coffee's for Harry-O when you need to run shit.
Yeah. So it really is. It's it's building dreams. And going after them.
I get it. I get why it's for building dreams. You just need to stay awake for like 18 hours and move a shit ton of crack.
I think when you have a shit ton of crack, you don't need coffee to stay up.
Oh.
Okay, well, that's our episode, guys.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I wish I had something nicer to say about the coffee.
Yeah.
You know what? I think I think that there's a time and place for dark roasted coffee. Like I said, I think this coffee is great with like milk, and I think it'd be really good with some vanilla.
And it's tough. Sumatran coffee has a very distinct flavor. So it's kind of tough. You either really like it or you really don't. So it's a divisive coffee.
There's a coffee out there for everything, though.
That's right.
I'm not going to be able to use that Goshen GFA coffee if I want a latte or
That's
an
true.
iced vanilla coffee. Like, that's not going to work. This
That would be
Indo.
terrible. Yeah.
I mean, Sumatra is a really important ingredient in like Starbucks' repertoire. So
I actually used to drink the Sumatran Starbucks all the time. I loved it. It was as black as the night.
yeah. So
There's that
time and
hits
a
for a
place.
lot of people. So
Right.
this is great if you like a darker roast.
Right.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And you get to support Snoop Dogg. I don't know that he needs your support. But if you're trying to help the children through Snoop Dogg,
That's right. You can help out a youth football league. Yeah.
Awesome.
help like pad his coffers a little more.
And if you
help
want
the
to help
children.
out 3 other children, there's 3 adult children here. You can sign up on patreon.com/no bad reviews. For that, you'll get some more bonus content, which we're about to put out here on our Love It or Leave It. So we got a couple episodes coming out here. You can support our drinking habit. That's always really helpful because it's expensive to keep us lit up, right, Steph?
I'm going to spend all my money on drugs. Please send it in.
Every month. So that's how you do it. Stick with us. We'll see you on the next party. And thanks for joining us on this one, Indo Coffee by Snoop Dogg, INDOxyz. And we'll see you guys next week. Couple weeks, right?
Theoretically, if I come back.
Right.
I think you'll come back from New York. It's a very high cost of living
That's
there.
true. You're right. I'll have to come back.
And, like, do you really want to live in a 100 square foot apartment with your family?
Oh, God, no.
Well, we'll
I
find
didn't
out.
think so.
We'll find out next week, folks. Did Steph like her trip? We'll find out.
I'll bring some coffee.
All right. I want to hear the No Bad Reviews version of New York.
Awesome.
Huh.
Peace out.
Thank you for listening to this podcast, generously sponsored by Modest Coffee, purveyors of single origin coffee without the snobbery. Visit www.modest.coffee/no bad reviews to see what they're roasting today. Enjoy.